Hello, Facebook. It's me, Stefanie Diaz with Mastermind Your Launch. Super excited to be going live with you today. Haven't done a Facebook Live in a while, so I'm super excited to be hopping on today. And I'm going to be talking a lot about visibility. I promised over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing 3 different Facebook Live videos, and they're all on the topic of visibility. Because a little bit about me. 2.5 years ago, I founded Mastermind Your Launch when I launched a podcast. My really, first big action on getting out there and putting my voice out there. Launching that podcast was a huge step for me in gaining visibility. But also gaining confidence in putting my voice out there in a big way. And I have learned so much over the last few years that I really am excited to share it with you. So just to give you a little bit of background, at the end of this month, I am hosting the Face Forward Intensive. It is a personal branding and visibility workshop for entrepreneurial women. And that workshop is inspired by a lot of the feedback that I have been getting from women, especially those who have attended some of my recent events for WOE, W-O-E, Women Only Entrepreneurs. I have been talking to a lot of amazing women business owners, and I have been getting a lot of common themes. And one is that, when I talk about taking the stage and claiming your voice, it's a message that I share a lot, both on at my events and on my radio show. A lot of women come up to me and they say, listen, I know that I want to take the stage and I want to claim my voice, but I haven't been showing up in my business. And I really am ready to do that in a bigger way. And so today I wanted to share one of my biggest lessons learned when it comes to visibility. And it has to do with a lot of this feedback that I'm getting from women about how they're showing up in their business. And so today's message is really one of forgive yourself for, don't be so hard on yourself about how you've been showing up to date. The way that a lot of women start to criticize and allow that inner dialogue to bring them down is they say, listen, I know that I should have been doing this. I should have been blogging. I should have been posting on social media. I've wanted to do this or that for a long time, and I haven't yet. And so they start to criticize themselves for not showing up for, what if it's the last 6 months, a year in their business. And what that does is it brings them to a negative space that is not the foundation to lay when you're ready to launch and gain visibility and show up in your business. So today I want to talk about 3 things that you can do to turn that ship around. So number 1, if I'm talking about facing forward, that means that we are not looking backwards. You've got to let go of whatever has happened over the last however many months in your business that you know wasn't your best. Let it go. Maybe consider that this has been an incubation time. Maybe you're like this butterfly and this time has been your time in your cocoon. What I have found in my business is that I have had plenty of ideas that have been rolling around in my head for some time. And I could beat myself up because I didn't take action the second that I got that idea, and that I let it sit in a notebook or in an Evernote for months or maybe even years. But what I have actually found, and what I firmly believe, is that the time is always right for that idea to come forward. The timing will always be right. So if you've had an idea for a while and you're looking backwards, beating yourself up because you haven't taken action, let's reframe that and say that now is the right time, and that this entire time period in the middle has been preparing you for an even better entrance. Doesn't that feel so much better? Doesn't that, just like lift a weight off of your shoulders? I can assure you that if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it just hasn't been meant to happen. But forgive yourself, face forward, and you can, emerge so much better. So number 2, we're not looking backwards. And number 2, we're also not looking to the sides. A lot of people, especially women, like to look side to side and compare themselves to, this person or that person. Hey, Melanie, I see that you just joined. There's a lot of comparison that goes along, and that can really start to bring you down and produce some negative self-talk that keeps you from showing up in your business. And I mean, I've experienced this myself. You start to see someone doing well, and first of all, you compare. Maybe they've been in this, this path for twice as long as you, and you see what they've built, and then you start to see this huge gap between where you are today and where they are, and it just seems like this huge mountain to climb. So it slows you and it keeps you from taking action. So you cannot compare yourself in that way. I also know a lot of women who will start comparing themselves, and then they start to get that message, if she's doing it, then maybe I shouldn't. Someone's already done that. You've got to remove that from your thinking as well. This isn't a limited pie where, if someone's already doing that, then there's less for me. No, you have a message to share that's uniquely yours. And you've got to give yourself permission to know that people need to see it from you as well. And maybe that person that you're comparing yourself to is actually someone that you could potentially collaborate with. I'll share something right now. In less than an hour, I'm going to be interviewing an amazing tech startup founder, Stefanie Diaz, on the Mastermind Your Launch podcast. I first met Stefanie when she hosted an event called Startup Sisters. At the time, I was planning women-only entrepreneurs. And there was a part of me that saw this beautiful event that she was hosting and thought, why should I host Whoa? She's already got Startup Sisters, I had that moment. And it was funny because she was speaking during the event, and she actually, as I'm having this thought, talked about the same thing and said, it's not a limited pie. We all have our own voice, and we all should give ourselves permission to go out there, and we're not competing with anyone else. And I'm like, that's exactly the message I needed to hear now, because for 1 second, I actually thought that I shouldn't continue with this project I was so inspired by because I saw another woman doing something similar. And what ended up happening is that she's become a great friend and a huge supporter. And we both have our own style, and we're both empowering women. And that's something that definitely shouldn't slow down. Someone put it to me beautifully when she said that, it's not that one person needs to wave the flag. Imagine, especially when it comes to women's entrepreneurship, that it's like a tent. And we all have a responsibility to hold up a part of the tent so that more women can come underneath and be housed and included in that community. So when you start to compare yourself to other people, think about it that way. Think about that you are adding to a movement, that you're adding your own voice, and that you're helping to shine this light in a bigger way. And definitely give yourself permission to do that. And the last part about facing forward that I want to share with you is the fact that facing forward requires looking in the mirror. Looking in the mirror to get very clear and honest with who you are, how you're showing up, but also what needs to be cut away. A lot of times what holds us back isn't all of these things that we need to be doing. It's all of these things that we are doing that aren't aligned with where we really want to go. I was in this place earlier this year. I was gaining lots of visibility, and it was beautiful. emceeing this event, on the board for this, all of these opportunities and doors opening, and it was fantastic. And then I realized, especially when Whoa came up, I was doing all of these things, but they weren't my passion. And I had to cut away and get very aggressive in cutting away the things that weren't aligned. And so facing forward also means giving yourself permission to stop doing things, stop thinking how, these thoughts that don't serve you, and stop doing these actions that don't serve you. And when you get really, really committed to making those tough decisions, because sometimes it's not always easy, especially as women, to say no, but when you start to exercise that muscle, you will find yourself just propelling forward so much faster. So those are my tips for you for facing forward today. Number one, don't look backwards. Definitely don't have that negative self-talk about how you've been doing things to date. Reframe it. You've been in incubation, you've been in your cocoon, you're ready to emerge. The foundation has been set and now you're ready. So give yourself that pep talk. 2, don't look to the sides. Don't do that comparison trap. Don't think that you're not worthy of that dream that you have just because someone else is doing well in whatever they're doing. That could not be farther from the truth. And 3, face forward, look into the mirror, get honest with where you want to go, and get honest with what you're willing to give up to get there. So if any of this is resonating with you, I want to let you know that I do have a workshop happening later this month in Atlanta. It's called the Face Forward Intensive. It is an intimate one-day workshop for entrepreneurial women where we are going to dive deep into your personal brand, your visibility, where you're going, and what you need to cut away, and what needs to come forward in order for you to get there. It is an intimate workshop because I want everyone to have an opportunity to be spotlighted and to get feedback from everyone else in the room. It's going to be honestly one of the most powerful experiences that I've put together to date, and I'm very excited to provide this experience to a small group of women. And so if you're interested in learning more, you can head over to mastermindyourlaunch.com/faceforward. I'll post the link in the comments. And I invite you to join me back here on Thursday at noon, where I will be sharing tip number 2 on visibility. So I am wishing you guys all the best, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.